All right, let's go. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good afternoon. How the hell's everybody doing? Tuesday? Nobody wants to wait till Tuesday. Nobody wants to wait till Tuesday. That's for damn sure. So, what do we got here? Let's blow up this chat so I can see y'all. Close up some of these windows I got going on here. All right, how you doing, Eric? Jacob Megna, one of the few missing from practice. Kachuk's not here either. Right, something Paul, Maurice said would happen. Right. Stern, Boquist, Greer not practicing. Yeah, that sounds about right. Give those guys as much rest as possible. Jameson says Cooch got tangled up with a teammate in last night's game. Looked to be in a bit of pain on the bench, stayed in the game. Well, he's got like a month off before they play again, right? I'm surprised he was playing in that game. Why was Kucherov even on the ice? Hey, Icy, Dietrich, Canada Ball, Chopper. How's everybody doing? That's right. Happy Easter. I got to go get my free ham today. I spent $400 at the Redners. So I get a free ham. So I'm just checking something here real quick. This is computer's acting strange. Well, we'll just take it as it comes here. Yep, has made the playoffs. No doubt. Now they got to take out Washington. Communist, yeah, nice big spiral ham, yeah. Oh, he was trying to win MVP. I see. I gotcha. Ethan, the weather is nice today. Now I think it's 67. It's going to be 80 tomorrow. Weather's nice. Finally, right? It took long enough. Jabba says everyone seems to be thinking that the Bolts will prevail over the Panthers. What's my prediction? Everybody's wrong. I'm right. That's usually what I'll go with. Of course, I'm picking the Panthers. I picked this to repeat. Right? I totally understand all of the hockey reasons and all of the reasons why people would think Tampa could win this series, and they can. It's totally a toss-up, to be honest with you, but I'm picking the Panthers because duh. But that's quite literally my reason is duh. Honestly. There would be nobody I would blame for picking Tampa in this series. Ethan, I don't think I'm going to get there today because I got so much to do. But next week looks good. It's hard when the weather's been cold, hot, right? Because then you got to pick your timing. But now next week it's like 75 every day. So basically at any point during the week, if I want to get down there for an hour, I'll probably record some podcasts down there now that we're finally done with it. You know, we were below freezing this week a couple of nights. It's crazy. Yeah, Metal says, like the stream, a Trocheck gets tripped on the golf course. Maurice wants to beat his old team, Winnipeg. It's a good point. Ryan, I know, man. I know. You guys got to be happy with the schedule. 8:30, then 6:30 to 1 o'clock on Saturday. What dumbass made the Panthers Lightning game not the primetime game on Saturday night? The first home playoff game for the defending Stanley Cup champions is 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Come on. The level of disrespect is real. Kachuk says, Barkey on the ice for every second Cooch is and stay out of the box. That sounds about right. Every time Cooch is out there, just put Barkov out there. You know? Yeah. True. No. First game is Tuesday. Ryan says, I'm 3-0 when Panthers host 1 p.m. Montreal, twice in Boston. Yeah. Is what Monday? True. No, the first game is Tuesday, if that's what you're asking. Unfortunately for us, we have to wait till Tuesday. Metal says, hopefully the Panthers will have some fuel from nobody really believing in them to win the series. Maybe that'll give them a boost. Well, we know Tampa's going to give us their best efforts. That's for sure. Cannonball says, I believe the Cats will make the conference finals but lose against the Capitals. Oof. I mean, I can't. Obviously, I don't want that to happen, and I would not be picking that to happen. I would not be surprised if that happened. I'll put it that way. Nothing the Panthers do this year could surprise me, except for losing to Toronto in the second round. That would be the only surprise. If they lose to Tampa, I won't be surprised. If they get to the second round against Ottawa and we're beat to shit, I won't be surprised. If we get to the conference finals against Washington and we lose, I won't be surprised. If we get to the conference finals against Carolina or New Jersey and lose, fire everybody. Ethan says, you think we're going to be less violent in an attempt to try to stay healthier? I'm concerned at least that's how Tkachuk is going to play. That's how he's sort of been since the sternum. I think yes for the top 6 guys and no for the bottom 6. Certainly the bottom line, the fourth line, because we have 2 fourth lines. Quite literally, we have 2 fourth lines, and that's without calling up Puljujarvi. Now, I have a question about that suspension. I know he's suspended for 2 games, but if he's in the AHL, does that count? Or does he can't play 2 AHL games and that is his suspension? Like, do they just hold him out of 2 AHL games? Or does he have to be on the NHL roster for the suspensions to actually count? Icy says the only surprise will be if the Cats get swept in any round. Yeah, losing to 5 would surprise me too, but I get your point. Nearmax says it's got to be NHL games. So if we want him, I mean, we would be so far down the depth chart if he was playing anyway. But so he's got to be up at the NHL level for 2 games and be suspended for it to count. That's funny. He got 2 games for that. I mean, come on, man. That was barely a match penalty. He lifted his shoulder just a little bit. Just a little bit. 2 games for that. That's when you see some of the other, who was it that did the cross check that got the 1 game? Come on, man. Not that it's a big deal, right? Chopper says Vegas isn't making the Stanley Cup final. Oh, which, by the way, right before I did this live stream, I recorded another episode with Paul. So there won't be a members podcast out, but I will have a episode with Paul and I up by about 1:30 on the Puck Blockers channel. Nurse, thank you, scientist. Yeah, Nurse got 1 game for trying to chop the dude's head off. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, right. Puljujarvi gets 2 for looking the other way and lifting his arm up. Come on, man. I mean, if you want to give him the 1 game, whatever. But the 2, it's like, just because it's Florida, I guess. Ghost Slayer says, hey, Jaws, everyone doing their brackets as Tampa beating us. I did my bracket and got us going against Colorado. I would have us going against Colorado, but I'm going to be picking Dallas. Kyle and I are going to do our brackets live tonight. We're going to sign Donna up for an account and have her do a bracket too. Vincent, the smart ass, the Puck Blockers channel. Boulevard says, hypothetically, if Canada will win the Cup, the only allowable answers are the Jets or the Senators. I can understand that sentiment. Vincent says, Dallas won't survive against the Avs, ? Dallas and Colorado in the first round is very similar to Florida and Tampa in the first round, where it could easily would have been the conference championships if the divisions were aligned differently. I see. We're just streaming. We're not streaming a game or anything. We're just going to be in here. Kyle's going to be here. We're just going to be talking playoffs. That's all. Just same thing we do here at noon, but give people a chance to come out on a Friday night, because a lot of people can't come to the noon streams because they're working or whatever. Hey, Metal, I appreciate that. We had a good time. We're working on being able to do more. Paul's going to get, what's that satellite service? What's the satellite service that Elon Musk has? What the hell is it called? He's putting on the boat so that we can record episodes from the boat. I don't remember these things. My brain is mush. Ghost Slayer says if Toronto can handle Tampa and we can handle Toronto, then we should be able to handle Tampa. But that is a should, not a would. You think we take it in 6? I hope I hope so. I get what you're saying, but last year's Tampa is not this year's Tampa. And who was saying that they're a run and gun team now? I get it. Who said that? Where was it? I can't find it. Oh, Nearmax says Tampa isn't physical anymore. They're like a run and gun team now. A little bit. We'll see. Cooch can still bring it out. You know what I mean? Paul's a big dude. Chopper says Oilers first round exit. I agree. I think the Kings have had enough of first round exits. And if it ends up with an Oilers W, LA might be beyond cooked. Yeah, I kind of like the Kings in that series as well. Hey, Jeff, how you doing, bud? Bolvar says, I want to see the chaos and revenue drought that comes with all teams winning the Cup, Super Bowl, World Series, and NBA championships. I want to hear everyone say, so what now? I see what you're saying. I get what you're saying. But that can never happen because the Bills will never win the Super Bowl. Starlight, thank you, Vincent. Yeah. I see. I think we're going to start it at 7:30 tonight. I think we're going to start it at 7:30. It'd be like an hour, 90 minutes. We're not going to stay on too long. But 7:30 to 9, something like that. Depends on how early Donna and I want to excuse ourselves, and then we'll just leave Kyle to clean up the mess. I think that's what's going to happen. Everybody remembered Starlink but me. I'm old. What do you want? Ryan says the Lightning are unstoppable at home this year. Ryan, since I'm old and my eyes hurt, I will give you a project, Ryan, because this is a viable project. I want you to look at the Panthers schedule and the Lightning schedule, because I would genuinely like to know the answer to this if you have time to do this. Look at the two schedules, and what I want to know is how many games did Tampa play at home where their opponent played Florida the night before, and what was Tampa's record in those games? I'm very curious to know, because it happened at least 3 times here in the last 10 days of the season where Tampa's playing teams that played Florida the night before, because it used to be the other way around. The Panthers used to benefit. Teams would go to Tampa, get the ass kicked physically, and then we'd get a beaten up, tired team in Florida the next night, and we won some games that way, no doubt. Very curious how much their home record has been assisted by that dynamic. Marlboro Man says, I like our chances better now that everyone has the underdog. Jeff, we're repeating as Cup champions, so yes. He's asking if the Panthers make it to the Eastern Final. Yes. Shopper says, I've been watching your streams for a while now, thanks to your new workplace. Did I get the pink Chucky puppet? He's still here. He's going to be ready for game 1. I don't have a voice for him yet, but he'll have a voice and a mouth guard and no tag. He'll be ready for game one. You have my word on that. I don't know what the voice is going to be. I've been trying, and just hopefully something comes to me, and I expect it to. But he'll be ready. He'll be ready. I wasn't going to put him until Chucky played. I kind of felt like if I put him out there before Chucky played, it might be bad juju. Rematch says Tampa runs up the score on bad teams. That's true. Vincent says, old man has some ideas. He has stories as long as there's someone listening. That's about right. That's about right. Chopper says, we never lost 7-0 to the Blue Jackets, so we ain't losing. Jeff says, Toronto was losing in round one. You know, I'm picking Toronto in their series. I would actually probably rather play Toronto than Ottawa. I don't know that I want Brady Tkachuk versus Matthew Tkachuk in the playoffs. I know a lot of people would be interested in that, but just the physicality that usually happens between Florida and Ottawa, I'm not interested. Not interested. Canada Ball says, just imagine if two teams in the first round curse faced each other in the first round. Who wins? So who would that be? Who would that be? You know what? I can come up, Canada Ball, I can come up with an NFL version of that. Bills versus Ravens in the AFC Championship game. Somebody has to win. Yeah. Yeah, Craig says, just talk normal with the mouthpiece hanging out. I got to find the mouthpiece again. It's either that or I got to buy myself a new. Oh, I think I know where it is. I think I have a spare mouthpiece because I have a mouth guard because I grind at night and I have a spare one. So Kyle used all the glue. I got to buy new glue. It's a whole process. But yeah, maybe if I'm just doing it with the mouth, then I would have to get another mouthpiece too. But I got to get one for him and one for me while I'm doing it. Yeah, I think you gave me that idea before. My memory is not all that great this week, so you have to forgive me. I grabbed Chuckle by the groin. Yeah, that's another reason why I didn't want to use him. His groin was healing. I couldn't stick my hand up there while he was healing. Coral Ghost Slayer says, I think Toronto takes Ottawa in 6. I think I would agree there. I think that's what I said in my preview about. I don't think I picked games. Did I pick games? Yeah, I think I did. Number of games. I think I did. Bolvar says both Chuckies create a truce. We get one hit on each other this series. Sorry, Bennett. Got to keep the brotherly love. we would end up with another Bennett Brady fight, right? Chopper, my brackets. Blues over Jets. Oh, my God. Avs over Stars. Wild over Vegas. Chopper, what are you smoking? And send me some, please. Really, I could use some good stuff. Kings over Oilers. We agree. Sens over the Leafs. Panthers over Bolts. Capitals over Habs. Devils over Canes. So Chopper, the only two picks that you and I have the same are Kings and Panthers. It's the only two picks we have the same. Canes 3-0 choke. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Fleury gets his revenge. Yeah. I hadn't thought about that. Yeah, I didn't think about that. I don't know, though, man. Vegas is tough. Vincent says, I'm a chicken masseuse. You like to grab things. A chicken masseuse. Yeah. I like to rub my chicken. I guess it is what it is. I rub it down, I pat it down, I chop it up, I put it in the oven, and I eat it in some kind of order. Chopper says, sorry, Jaws, I hate Vegas so much. I'm rooting for their downfall. I get it. It could very well be Vegas, Florida, though. Right? Like it could very well go down that way. I don't know if I'm interested in a rematch, but which rematch would you guys rather have? Panthers Vegas or Panthers Oilers? Snigs. Is that how we're saying it? Snigs? Huh. As a Cats fan, I'm worried this year Tampa is good. Yeah, no doubt. Everybody would rather have Vegas. Vegas. Craig says Panthers, Avs. Ooh. Maybe. Ryan says Panthers beat Utah in overtime. Lightning destroyed Utah 8-0. Okay, hold on a second, Ryan. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Bear with me here. I want to see something here. Just bear with me. When did we play Utah? Let's see. Okay, so we beat Utah on March 28th. Hold on. Huh. No, that's not how it worked out. So the Lightning, it was actually the opposite of what I was looking to find. So I'm being honest. The Lightning beat Utah 8-0 on the 27th, March 27th. And then the Panthers beat them the next night in overtime. Let's see here. Geez, we only allowed 15 shots in that game. I'm looking to see if any. I mean, Kachuk was out. Was Ekblad on the ice? No, that was with Marchand, that game that we beat Utah. So Kachuk was out. Ekblad was out. Let's see. Tampa, when they beat. I want to see what Tampa did that game. Let's see. Kucherov had one. Hedman had one. Borgstrom had two. Gensel had two. Point had one. Vasilevsky with the shutout. Tampa was healthy. Florida wasn't. But I get your point. I get what you're trying to say, Ryan. We'll settle it on the ice, right? Vincent would rather have the Avs. Chop would rather have the Avs. Icy says, well, if I want to win, I would pick the Oilers, but something in me wants Vegas for revenge. Drew's open for Cats, Jets. That could be a tough one. You think it's going to be Avs or Jets in the West? I'm picking Dallas to beat Colorado, but it wouldn't surprise me, though. Yeah, Tampa played Utah first. Yeah. David says, I think Bolts fans will be upset I have the Cats winning that game in 5. Whew. That would help me out. If it was a short series, that would help my blood pressure out for sure. Metal says, Tampa always demolishes every team we barely beat. Right? That's how each team wins. And that's true. To some extent, what Metal is saying is true in that it doesn't matter who we play. Our goal is the 2-1 game, you know? Bolvar says, a very sad stat the last 4 seasons. Florida had a series with Tampa, and every year but last year, Tampa won the series. However, that all ends this time. The Cats are kicking the Lightning's ass again. Find out. Yeah, Ryan, that's what he's saying. If Florida played first. No, not true, Ryan. Yeah, Florida. Ryan. That's what you guys are saying the same thing. Ryan, you guys are saying the same thing. I think. Laura says, I don't want the Avs to Landeskog back. You would want Dallas since they crash and burn at the perfect time every year. Barkov versus McKinnon, Bennett versus Landeskog, Makar versus Forsling. How good is Landeskog going to be? Right? I mean, I know it's a miracle he's coming back and all of that, but how's he looked so far on in his conditioning stints? Snakes has Ottawa in the first round over the Leafs. It wouldn't shock anybody, obviously. I mean, I'm still picking Toronto. Stolarz has really been good. I think that's going to be the difference. Ullmark in his postseason games, his postseason experience for Ullmark has not been all that spectacular. But Stolarz obviously doesn't really have much experience, but he's just been so good right now. David says Leafs usually get their hopes up before they choke. It's a lot of years for Leaf fans. Vincent said he scored a goal good enough to play, right? Dietrich, I don't think Gadjevich starts, but I don't know what Maurice is going to do. If Chucky starts, I can't imagine Gadjevich should be on the ice because you're going to have Rodriguez on that fourth line. Yeah, Rodriguez, Sturman Greer, fourth line. Yeah. Gator 2 says, I'm about to take a lot of blood pressure pills and drink a lot of beer during this Tampa series. Yeah, that sounds about right. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be very important to at least split those first two games. No doubt. Snakes, why would you want? No, Boquist is not going to be on the ice. Barkov, Reinhart, Verhaeghe, Bennett, Tkachuk, Samoskevich, Lundell, Luosterainen, Marchand, Sturm, with Greer, and Rodriguez. Boquist won't be on the ice. He hasn't scored a goal since January 25th. Kachukin says, bad news, Jaws. 13 Florida trip games this year where Florida played second after Tampa. Florida went 11-2. 13 Florida trip games this year where Florida played second after Tampa. Okay. And then we went 11-2 in those games. What about the games where Tampa played second? I know it's crazy we don't start till Tuesday. 13. Yeah, so I see that, Kachuk, and you're saying we're 13 times we played second. Vincent says the first game is supposed to be the ugliest. Gadget should be in. Stern looked weird in his fight. I honestly would put Nosek out there at this point. It's like you're saying he plays the corners way better than Mackey, but we need offense. I don't think Boquist will be on the ice. I'd be shocked. I mean, they're not going to take Samoskevich off the ice, and they're not going to break up Lundell, Luosterainen. So the only change could maybe be if they put Mackey on the third line and Marchand on the second. But I can't. The only way that you leave Boquist on is if you do a fourth line, a Sturm with Boquist and Rodriguez. That could happen. But can't have guys that haven't scored goals in 3 months right now in the top 9. It's just we got to have goals. Meadow says Paul doesn't care about scoring. You think he'll keep Boquist in? Y'all crazy. I mean, only on the fourth line. If he keeps him in on the fourth line, maybe. But he's not. I can't imagine a scenario where he puts them anywhere else. If Tkachuk is healthy. David says, I know McDavid gets the love of the NHL, but if I could get any one player in the league, I'd take Makar over McDavid. Ooh. I mean, they're both special in their own right, for sure. Icy says, I call him Bull quit because he quit scoring goals. You know, I understand the argument people have with Boquist and the other parts of the game that he participates in. So I'm not arguing against that. But, you know, we go out, we get Marchand, you know, he's in the top 9. You're not going to take Samoskevich out of the top 9 at this point. Samoskevich is really our best depth scoring forward at this point in terms of actually putting the puck in the back of the net. There's just no room for Boquist. I can't imagine a scenario other than the fourth line for him. Right. So in practice today, Greer, Sturm, and Boquist didn't practice, and Rodriguez was playing the second line with Bennett and Mackey. That is Tkachuk's spot, though. That's Chucky's spot. So if Chucky comes in, and that's the way I would expect it to be if Chucky's not in, would be Rodriguez with Bennett and Mackey. So the fact that he still got Bennett with Mackey there, that pretty much tells you. Now, Greer could be a maintenance day. And with Boquist, you don't know. You don't know if any of that's maintenance days. That would be the fourth line if Chucky's not in. Greer with Sturm and Boquist would probably be the fourth line if Chucky's not in. Now I'm thinking about it. Craig says Erod, Sturm, Greer's the fourth. Boquist sits for sure. Right. We agree. Vincent says Erod keeps Tkachuk in place at this point. If he's back, I'm not sure Rodriguez plays game 1. Do you think he'd put Boquist on that fourth line instead of Rodriguez? Dietrich Gadjevich definitely is. Greer, to some extent, is. Snick says Rodriguez is playing game 1. Yeah. Yeah, you can't. How do you take Rodriguez out? And look, it's a good problem to have, right? I mean, it's a really good problem to have. You know, having that much depth, we could make so. I mean, remember when we first got Sturm, he put Nosek on that wing with Sturm. Now, maybe some of that was to get Sturm used to the faceoffs and everything, but yeah. There, Vince is saying Greer, Nosek, Sturm, Gadjevich, Erod, Boquist are the fourth line options. Yeah. David, yeah, work making you work. I understand that. I understand that completely. Ryan says Vegas will say Lightning are favored for game 1. Oh, for sure. For sure. She says Erod is awesome because he can play first line all the way down to the fourth line. Yeah, I mean, anywhere you put him, he can perform for sure. Brian, I agree with Brian. He says this will either be out in round 1 or another cup run, no in between. Kind of agree there. Hey, thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Amanda. We will come out swinging game 1, batshit crazy like Karen. Oh, man. Fantastic. Fantastic. Screenshot that. And I agree. Now, I'm not guaranteeing we're going to win game one. Tampa's going to be jacked up too, though, man. So much of this is going to come down to goaltending. You know what I mean? Just who lets that one little extra one slip in. So much of it's going to come down to goaltending too. And both of these guys, obviously Vasilevsky's numbers have been better than Bob. That's pretty much normal. But, you know, Bobrovsky has been lights out. And if he can continue in the playoffs to be that way, I'm saying lights out in the playoffs. Chopper says, not going to lie. Hold on a second. Chopper says, not going to lie. We need to win this cup from Marchand. Obviously, the repeat is the main event, but Marchand needs to lift the cup. Can you imagine the disarray in Boston? That's a good point. I know there's a lot. Every Bruins fan I know is rooting for Florida now, but I know like two of them. So there's that. I don't think low quality is rooting for Bruins fans, rooting for Florida. I haven't talked to him, but I would be surprised if he is. Eric says, who has the edge game one with 8:30? I don't know. I'm going to say Florida has the edge because at 7:30, Kachuk's groin might not be ready, but by 8:30, it probably should definitely be healed. Snake says, I hate to be that guy, but Tampa goaltending is better. Yeah, I mean, numbers-wise, sure. But you know, it's who's better in those games. Who's better in the, you know, when somebody gets a breakaway? Who's making the saves in those moments? That the margin is just so paper thin. Who's owning the front of the net, right? Deflections. That's going to be another thing. Yeah, Craig, puck luck and mistakes. Exactly. Hey, thank you, Amanda. Thank you. He says, how would Kyle react to my previous super? I took a screenshot. I plan on showing it to him. Yeah. He would appreciate that, Amanda. I'm not even gonna lie. If there was anybody, somehow he was more sick of her than I was. We'll leave it at that. Can't say I blame him. Yeah, Chopper says low quality. I already said he won't be rooting for Tampa or for Florida because he hates them. I remember him saying that, but I just had wondered if he had softened and changed his mind or not. I haven't seen any of his videos recently. Trey says, Vassy, Bolton 5. I'll put Trey in timeout. Putting you in timeout. Or should I just ban user and delete their comments? Metal says the guy with the 50 saves shut out in game 4. I'm not talking about previously. I'm talking about now, right? What was Vasilevsky's numbers? Here we go. And I could be wrong here. I could totally have the wrong idea. No. Let me see something. This is just for my own curiosity. So, not for nothing. So, when they were winning cups, Vasilevsky's playoff numbers were 190 and a 927, then 190 and a 937, and then 252 and a 922. That's when they went to their 3 straight finals. The last 2 seasons in the playoffs, 356 and a 875, and a 322 and a 897, which tells me two things. Number one, Tampa's defense is going to play a role in that. And number two, I mean, he had goals against, I mean, you're talking about playoff runs in 1920 and 2021, where his goals against in 25 and 23 games was under 2. You understand how difficult, how insane that is? How almost damn near impossible that is? You expect a guy's goals against to go up a little bit because you're playing against top competition. He went on full-on runs with sub 2 goals against averages. So whether or not that guy is still around, we'll find out. Hey, thank you, Amanda. Thank you. Thank you, Amanda. Just chocolate chips for Kyle because that's all he seems to want these days. Chocolate chips. An extra bag. Yeah, I'm going to need an extra bag, Amanda. Thank you. Thank you. I got the pancake griddle. I got the mix. I got the syrup. I just got to get the chips and my free ham today. I get a free ham. So at least I get something for my $400. Redners will always run specials around here. So like if you spend like $300 in the 3 weeks leading up to Christmas or Thanksgiving, you get a turkey. And for Easter, it would spend $400 and get a ham. So I spent $400 just on peanut butter alone. Gator says, hey, Josh, you're going to be like Arnold Schwarzenegger after the Tampa series from all that lifting. Oh, you know, it's weird. Those last 2 games, the Panthers gave up 10 combined goals, and I was even doing push-ups and everything. I didn't get sore. It was really odd. I didn't get sore or anything. We got to get Marchand's mom banging the drum. Yeah. Ooh, boy. Thank you again, Amanda. All right, let's see here. Is the drum Corey Perry? Where is Corey Perry, do you see? Did he retire, Trey? I know he played this year, but I seem to remember him saying he was going to retire. I need an emergency kit for the playoffs. Lombard banging the drum. Get Cooch's wife to bang the drum. Stammer's wife saw me naked. Who remembers that? He's still in Edmonton. He's got 18 goals. I thought I could have sworn I heard he was retiring. But if I say I could have sworn I heard something, that just means what do you want? Last night, I had crazy dreams all night. And what I dreamt most of the night was getting attacked by dinosaurs. I literally woke up screaming, feeling a T-Rex's teeth on my head at like 2 a.m. It's crazy. Just like recurring. And then the next dream was a raptor that was attacking me. Just like out of nowhere. We always were watching Jurassic Park or anything. All night long, I had nightmares getting attacked by dinosaurs. Chopper. Yeah, no Paparu, no Stamkos from Tampa runs. A few other people's, right? Trey says that's nonsense, Eric. Dinosaurs aren't real. I'm just saying. Oh, yeah. Good call, Dietrich. Get Jack Nicklaus again, because that sure fired us up. All due respect to the guy. I mean, seriously. Best, if not one of the best golfers of all time. But whose idea was it to put him out there to bang the drum? It's like, come on, man. Metal says, which table is getting destroyed in this playoff run? So here's the thing, Metal. This is my concern. Donna, a couple streams ago. Now, last time she was on the couch. But before that, she had put one of our fold-up chairs next to me with the table kind of in front of us. Now, I'm a little bit concerned if she sits there. If I go to get up on my chair and miss the armrest of mine and hit hers, she's going to go flying. And then it'll be flying Donna hockey. So there's that. Eric says, Jaws want to compare power play versus PK? No. But I'll look at it. David says, your favorite Hall & Oates song is She's Gone? I like Say It Isn't So. That was my favorite of theirs. Okay, so where was I finding these stats? Let's see. NHL should be in my, don't you love that when you already look something up and it's still there? So let's see. PK percentage. Power play percentage. Okay. So power play percentage, Tampa, 25.9. And then Florida's PK percentage is 80.7. Where that ranks, Tampa's number 5 on the power play, and the Panthers, I believe, are 10 on the PK. So, but the percentages are so narrow, right? Like 1% could be the difference between, 6th and 15th place. So Tampa's PK is 81.6, and the Panthers power play is 23.5. We're kind of mid, like 13. We're ranked 13th on the power play. So I don't think that anybody would say, I would give the advantage on that one, obviously, to Tampa. Now, we got to stay out of the box. We got to stay out of it. And that's a normal thing to say. Yeah, correct, Chris, 515. Gator said, what were you talking about before I went to sleep? That's some hard dreams. All I did last night was my last night off in a while. I just went outside and walked in my yard. We got 3 acres here. I have an acre fenced in, and inside the acre, I have a figure 8 path that I've made around trees and around the dog's grave. And when I get a night off, a nice night like last night, it's like 58 degrees, I just go out there and I'll just walk for hours. And there was just no reason to have that dream at all. And it was the first dream that when I fell asleep, like I fell asleep at like 12:30. And like within 90 minutes, I was waking up screaming. I could feel like the teeth of the T-Rex. He was clamping down on my head. Never had anything like that. So I don't even know what I might have eaten to cause that. Dave says, am I the only one who thinks stats really don't matter in the playoffs? It's about grinding down the other team and staying healthy? One thing I will say that I agree with Paul Maurice about is just 2-1 games. Like that's the only thing Florida does is 2-1 games. And if we play our game and we play sound, it's going to be 2-1, 3-2, right? 4-3 at the most. So we know how we're going to play and how we're going to look if we play right. And then it just comes down to, are the refs calling it tight or are they calling it loose? If there's a breakaway, is Bob Vasilevsky making the shots or making the saves? Deflections, who's owning the front of the net? Because if you stand in front of Bob especially and get deflections, they're going to go in. G-Trick says, living a past life as a T-Rex snack. That's pretty cool. So, Chris, it's an interesting question. You said, what did I eat last night? So I had a somewhat stressful afternoon, and I went into the kitchen to make my steak for dinner. And so I might have, I'm ashamed to admit this, I can't gain any weight. So I might have bypassed the steak and made myself 4 big baked pretzels for dinner with mustard and salt. I might have done that. I might have done that. Eric says, Jaws, coaching is your key. I can't disagree there either. I mean, in almost every other series, you would say Maurice is the best coach, but, I'm not going to say that. I think Cooper has proven himself, obviously. Craig says stress can trigger weird dreams. That's true. It's just, it was so weird. So then I woke up from that one and I went back to sleep. And then freaking the Velociraptors were chasing me. And I was losing. You know how like when you get into dreams and you're like, you're safe? Not in these. Like I had to keep waking myself up before I got eaten. David says steak won't make you gain weight. No, I know. That's why I went and ate the pretzels instead. That's literally it, David. Because I was like, you know what? I need some carbs, man. I'm getting too skinny. So I had the pretzels. They were good, too. They were good. David says, I always dream I can fly, but not like Superman, more like Greatest American Hero. Oh, my God, you can shoot lasers from your hand. Who here remembers that show? David, I need some ice cream. I'm ready for the pancakes. I'll be having pancakes for dinner. Eric says it was a dream about the playoffs, right? Yeah. That was a great show, David. I know. It was just so, it was right there on the edge between corny and cool. You know what I mean? Like you couldn't quite figure out, is this for serious? Look at this dude's hair. But they were serious about it. Eric, yeah. So, oh yeah, the great theme song too. So, Chris says some sources suggest that certain carbohydrates, especially refined or starchy carbs, may contribute to nightmares. That was probably it, Chris. To be honest with you. So I'm going to look at the playoff schedule and give you guys the what's up. Now, tonight, we're streaming. We're going to start at 7:30. I got to create the stream. It's just going to be a fun. I'm going to do my bracket. Kyle's going to do his bracket. We're going to sign Donna up for an account. She's going to do her bracket. And then towards the end, I'll go to the other half of the house with Donna, and Kyle can get here and be drunk with you guys. Now, I know Saturday, we're doing Avalanche and Stars. I don't think we're going to do Blues and Jets because with Donna here and the schedule is going to be just so absurd. And I'm already giving up our Friday night. I'd like to get a little bit of time with her because she does drive an hour to spend the night here. So I'm pretty sure, I know we're doing Avalanche and Stars, Blues, Jets, we'll see. Sunday, I know we're doing the Senators and the Maple Leafs. That's a guarantee. Now, Sunday is a day where I don't know if we can do 3 games in one day. And I'll be back to the chat in a second because I can't see the chat with where I'm at. So I know Sunday we're going to do Senators and Leafs. I kind of would like to just stay up late and do the Wild and the Golden Knights. I don't know if doing the Devils and Hurricanes is going to be worth doing 3 in a day. So we'll see about that. Monday, we're going to do Canadiens and Capitals, and then Kings and Oilers. I would suspect that we're going to try to do Kings and Oilers. Some of these games are on the same days, and it sucks. Like Avs and Stars, Kings and Oilers are on the same day. And then, unfortunately, for Game 2 and Game 3 of the Toronto series, they're playing the same night as the Panthers. So, unfortunately, for all the Leaf fans that come here and watch with us, Panthers and Leafs are going to be playing the same nights, Game 2 and Game 3. So that sucks. And then after that, we should be able to stream the rest of the Toronto and Ottawa series. I had wanted to cover all of the games of the Toronto and Ottawa series, obviously. And I don't think, looking at the schedule, other than the Panthers series, I don't know if there's any series at all that we'd be able to do every single game, because they flip-flop between when they're playing against the Panthers or not. Maybe Capitals Canadiens? It really pisses me off that I won't be able to see all of the Leaf games. It really pisses me off. Capitals Canadiens game 1. And then they play Wednesday. They play Friday. They play game 4s on Sunday. So maybe the Capitals Canadiens series, it looks like, nope. Game 5, Capitals Canadiens, is also game 5 as Tampa and Florida. So I don't think there are any series at all that, other than the Florida one, that we're going to be able to cover all of the games. And that really pisses me off, because I like to be consistent with that. But we're going to have no choice but to jump all over the place and cover some games from all the different series. But the flip side of that is that we may be able to cover a few more Western Conference games than normal, because since we don't have the Dogs, if we pick up a late game that starts at 10 o'clock, then it's okay if I don't go to bed till 2 o'clock in the morning, because I'm not keeping the Dogs up, and we're not doing the same thing as we were last year. So real quick before I get ready to go, David says, what'd you say, David? You want to read the other part. He says, not saying it's for you, but microdosing. Yeah, I know what you're saying. The shrooms might prevent depression and nightmares. But I was taught when I was young to always see a full moon in my dreams, and that way I know I'm dreaming. That's interesting. I've not heard that before. That's interesting. Huh. Hadn't thought about that. Last comment. Adonis says, hey, guys, once again, your birthday wishes yesterday and your life advice means everything to me. Love you guys. We love you too, buddy. I'm happy. Happy. Hopefully you had a good day. Hopefully you had fun. Yeah, Metal, I agree. He says, I can't stand the overlapping games. They haven't picked up the fact that people want to actually watch the playoffs. I just assumed they would keep Florida and Toronto series separate. It just seems to make no sense to have teams from the same division playing on the same night. Don't make no sense, but that's hockey. All right, that's going to do it. I got to roll. I got a bunch of things I got to take care of this afternoon, and then we will be back here at 7:30. There may or may not be anybody sober. That's all I can tell you about that. It's Friday night. We're just going to have fun and hang out with everybody. So, all right, thank you for all the super chats. Appreciate all the support. In about a half hour, I will post the link to the episode of Puck Blockers that I just did this morning with Paul. And with that, we will see you tonight.